We break your day on EKTV Daybreak Nigeria with inclusive information, news without prejudice, well-articulated reportage, in-depth news analysis, newspaper highlights, business news, sports. Watch EKTV Daybreak Nigeria from 8 to 10 in the morning, Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Like we told you the other time that we're going to be talking on forestry, looking at forest development, looking at the benefit, looking at the economic benefit, looking at the environmental benefit of forestry, and this is going to be our focus this morning. And we have in the house a guest who is also is a program officer of a non-governmental organization called Green for Abundance Development and Empowerment Foundation, and that's a person of Miss Faith Reme. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and I have my colleague here with me, Bimbo.
Good morning, Tosin, and good morning, madam.
Good morning, ma.
Okay, let's start on this ground. What is Green for Abundance Development and Empowerment Foundation all about? Gandhi, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. What's it about?
All right, so Green to Abundance Development and Empowerment Foundation is an NGO that's into forestry matters, basically. We are into forest restoration, conservation, we're into advocacy, we are into planting of trees, we're into the rehabilitation of the ecosystem at large. So what we do basically is we notice that the environment these days is degraded, people cutting down trees, nobody is planting, nobody is actually like going into, they are just cutting down. So we just decided that, okay, in our organization, what can we do to, make the environment a better place for every one of us? So we thought of going into tree planting, and that was how the NGO was founded in 2018, August 14th. So since then, we've been actively planting trees, restoring the environment. We've done a lot of projects. We have a project currently going on, the Memorial Arboretum it's a Memorial Arboretum donated to the late Emeritus Professor Adeyoju. Okay. So he's the first professor of forestry in Africa. So we actually did a Memorial Arboretum to, respect him as the father of forestry in Africa. So, and we've done so many numerous projects.
Okay. You said the organization was actually established in 2018,
yes.
And I was wondering if probably is the publicity that is not that enough, because I think I'm hearing the organization for the first time in Ekiti. So how has it been?
Well, the thing is, the organization has been actively participating in Ekiti State when it comes to tree planting and all. So, well, I would say that we have been existing. It's just that a lot of people have not really heard about us, but we have been doing a lot.
Is it that the NGO is not actually popular, or the people naturally does not have the understanding of what it takes to plant trees, or the importance? Because a lot of people know that we were talking about petrol, you were talking about food, you see a lot of people giving attention. Is it that people don't give attention to the issue of tree planting and the purpose, or is it because that the NGO is actually quiet in doing what they know how to do best?
Basically, we are not quiet. We are very loud about what we do. It's just that, like you said, it is people's understanding about tree planting. You see, not a lot of people would, they'll be like, why am I planting trees? They are constituting nuisance to my, compound and stuff like that.
Well, so we are still going to come to that one.
Exactly. Okay. So people actually are not really enthusiastic when it comes to, tree planting. They just want to cut down the trees and, use them for their personal purpose. Yeah. So it's not like we've been doing a lot, but it's just the interest of people.
Why do we need to plant trees?
The advantages of planting trees.
All right. We need to plant trees. Okay. Let me break it down. Let me go to the biology itself.
Yeah.
You know, right now that we are all here, the reason why we are breathing basically is because of oxygen, right? So, what gives us this oxygen that we are breathing in? It's the trees. You know, plants, they release oxygen and they take in the carbon dioxide. What we are bringing out from our nostrils now, from our mouth as we are conversing now, is carbon dioxide to the environment. The plants absorb, the trees absorb this carbon dioxide and transform it and give us, through the process of photosynthesis, and it gives us oxygen. So this is the main reason why we need, not just that alone, that because it gives us oxygen. Trees actually have this cooling effect they give. Imagine you enter a place, there's no single tree. You enter a place, there's no single tree, and the sun is scorching so hard. Imagine how you would feel. You'll be sweating profusely. You would not feel comfortable. But just slightly past a place where there's a little shade, you see that your body will feel this calmness, that whole heat and thing. In fact, you want to take a rest under that tree because it's giving that cooling effect. So we need trees, not just basically because we just want to have trees. Trees have a lot of things. They serve as ecosystem restoration. They have a lot of ecosystem services they do. In fact, trees are like life support basically. That's how I see them. They are like life support basically. Yeah.
So you've spoken about some of the programs that you have in your organization.
Yeah.
Now you said about educating and empowering.
Yes.
And I want to ask that how often do you visit schools? Because in the olden days, I believe that we even met trees in our various schools that we attend, and I believe my partner will also agree with me on that. So how often do you normally visit schools towards enlightening them about the issue of planting trees?
All right, thank you so much. So basically, we do it every time, anytime we get the opportunity. Like last week now, we were able to visit a school along EXU Continuing Distance Learning Center, ERASA. That's Sarajuddin Nursery and Primary School. We donated 40 seedlings of Azadirachta to them for them to plant, because when we got there, we noticed that the school doesn't have any form of shade or any tree around, and the whole place looked very dry. So we thought to ourselves that why don't we donate seedlings to this school? And this is what we do. We go enlighten them. Even we catch the children young, that even when we got there, the children were so excited. They want to plant trees. They want to plant that, oh, this is my own tree, I want to take care of this. So it's giving them that, enlightenment that, okay, you need to have trees in your environment. So basically, we do it every time. Anytime we get the chance, the opportunity, we donate to school. In fact, if you have a school for us right now, we are ready to go there and, plant trees for them.
Then as per monitoring, giving is good, but how do you monitor?
Okay, yes. So the school that I said that we donated to, this week we have gone there to do monitoring and evaluation, and we noticed that they took care of the seedlings we gave them. They are all thriving well now, and we are so glad and very happy about the improvement, that they took it very, very seriously, and they seized that opportunity. They took care of the tree, and it is doing well right now. So
now, when you're talking about the issue of forestry restoration and conservation, now a lot of people just go to the what we call it now, to the forest, especially government-owned forest, most especially, just see them cut trees for economic purpose. And after that, what should be the mindset of the people when it comes to you not looking at the economic value of what you want to go and do in the forest, without trying to look for how to conserve, ensuring that the forest is actually maintained?
Now, the truth is, a lot of people just want to take. They're not ready to give back. So basically, we are not even saying do not cut down. We are saying if you must cut, as you are cutting down one tree, you should plant like 10 more, right? So that even if you're cutting down that one, there's still other 10 that would, grow and still replace that one you're cutting down. So we are not even saying do not cut down trees, but if you must cut, you should replant, you should restore, you should give back to nature, so that that one you're cutting off, there will be others to replace it. So that is basically it.
Most of the time in our houses, a lot of people, because you don't want stress, you do what we call German floor. You just do that. That's what you're doing by in your environment. Two questions. One, a lot of people, what is the disadvantage of doing such to you? Then number two is the fact that there are some of these flowers that we tend to plant in our houses, and all of a sudden it becomes a nuisance. Falling fence and some of these things become so big that you have to look for how to get it dispose them. So how do you manage that kind of situation?
Okay, all right, thank you. So basically, I would answer the second question before I answer the first question. So the second question is, how do people tend to manage that when trees or flowers are constituting nuisance to their compound? So basically, we always advise people that when you want to plant trees, like when you want to plant trees in a residential area, you should give like 10-meter distancing from the building itself and the fence, so that even if the roots are going to penetrate and it's not going to constitute nuisance afterwards or at a later time to the house or to the fence. So if people can adhere to that system of 10 meters away from the fence, 10 meters away from the main building, I think they wouldn't have problem even raising trees. Then back to the whole German floor, the first question. What I was to say is people's interest and mindset. Some people would be like, no, I don't want to have any form of tree. They just German the whole floor. So we are advising that even if you must German, but do not German, or leave at least, even if it's just a small garden, just plant small tree there that would be beneficial to you. It is very, very important.
Is it just about trees alone that can actually be of benefit to the house? Because sometimes, like you talk about garden, what if you're just having just little flowers around your house or farm, are those ones not going to be of benefit than planting of trees?
Okay, this is a very dicey question. Okay. So basically, people are really into what they can actually, harvest fast, like harvest. So most people, they will own a garden, they are planting maize, they are planting. These are things that in less than 2 months, 3 months, they're already giving you results. But what we are looking at in planting trees is the long-lasting effects of trees. Trees, we have economic trees, like we have the palm tree that gives us the what they call it, the palm oil. Then we have this what they call it, orogbo, the orogbo tree. Okay. That's Garcinia cola. When you have this tends to generate a lot of income. In fact, now a lot of people are into buying seedlings of orogbo, even from us, because they've noticed the economic importance. It is now very, very, very demanding now in our space. Orogbo is now very, very demanding. Then we see other trees too. They have economic importance that they generate. So planting trees, we are looking at the long-lasting effect. But you see, planting maize, it's something that after 3 months, 4 months, you're done harvesting and that's it, and the land is empty again. But when you have trees, though yes, they take time to develop, they take time to produce, but even at that, they have this long-lasting effect. It's able to generate income for you for generations to generation. Imagine you having a stand of orogbo in your compound. That is, you're able to generate orogbo every year, and they don't just come in 1 or 2, they come in mass. Just like when you're harvesting mango, 1 tree of mango can give you thousands of mango seeds, right? So same with orogbo. 1 tree of orogbo, you can harvest thousands, and you know how much they are selling 1 orogbo now. Do you know how much they're selling 1?
The smallest
exactly.
One, if you are buying 2 or 3, they will be telling you it's a 200, 300.
You see, some places, in fact, you're even getting 200, 300. In some places, 1,000. It sells for 1,000, 2,000 naira plus. Imagine you are having thousands of that coming from 1 single tree. You're already a millionaire. So it's just the long lasting. People don't actually like foresee. They are just about the now, the now. But if people can have that foresight to see things from a longer term or a longer view, then this whole tree planting thing will be exciting to people.
Oh, I love that
Okay, I
word.
want
Said
to
exciting.
ask, does your educative program also capture those who are also cutting those trees, like visiting the sawmillers and the operators too, who normally don't have education of, they don't even value trees, or they don't know the importance of planting trees, and all they do is to, when they give them instruction, they just go to the bush to cut. So how?
So
How are
from
you doing
our
it?
end, we've been doing a lot of public enlightenment, telling people, advocating them that it is very, very important that if you must cut down, we are not even saying do not cut down, but plant more trees. So these sawmillers, we even go there, we do sensitization, but there's still this thing that they say that it is those that would actually listen that would listen. So it's not like they do not know about it. It's just that people are adamant. Yeah.
Well, if you say they are adamant, I agree, but a lot of times when it comes to economic value of what you want, a lot of people don't think about the other side. But away from that, let's look at the issue of the climate change,
Okay.
because either we like it or not. I remember last year, towards the end of last year, the state government planted, what call it now? They planted flowers at the medians,
Yeah.
and I doubt before the rainy season started this year, almost most of those flowers planted were gone. Now, how do we manage the climate change? Because now we cannot even predict rain again because of the rate of the climate change. How do we manage it with planting and ensuring that the viability of those things that we are planting?
Okay, so basically, you know that in Nigeria we have two major seasons. We have the raining season and we have the dry season. Basically, we encourage anybody that would plant. Yes, we know that the climate is changing. We cannot really predict now how far the raining period would last. But basically, once the rainy season sets in, we advise that everybody should do any planting that they want to do. Because once the dry season sets in, any plants that has not established, like the root has not established during the rainy season, it's susceptible to drought. That is, it can easily die. Because if it doesn't get enough water, they are like human beings. If we do not get food to eat, we will not be very, very active. But when we get food to eat, we'll be active. So it's the same thing with plants. They are like humans too. If there is no water, they will not be able to survive. So it's very, very important that we plant when the rainy season are really, it's really in season, so that to ensure the longevity of these plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, as per the erosion control I had, and from research that when you plant trees, it will definitely control erosion.
Yeah.
How true is that?
Yeah, is very, very true. We have what we call watershed management, in the sense that when you actually plant trees, they serve as shield. That is, when imagine a land where there is nothing on it, like there is no single trace of plant, trees, or anything. Water will just keep growing through, it will just go straight, it will just flow. But when there is blockages like trees and all, it's hitting something, it's serving as shield, serving as a weapon that no, you cannot proceed more than here or here. So trees also serve as a way of controlling erosion, controlling all this flood and landslides and the likes. Yeah.
But the reason of this, now let's look at the country, what government needs to do. What government needs to do, especially these sawmillers and all this. There is one who call bayaba. Those guys that it's not if they are concerned if the tree is actually matured or not. What they just needed is they just cut. Now even the forest guards, we used to have forest guards, but we don't even understand how they work things again. So what should government do? Because either we like it or not, government still have an impact on this. What should government do in ensuring that we preserve our forests?
Okay, so basically, I would say we also work hand in hand with the Forestry Commission, Ekiti State, and sometimes, yes, the forest guards, they are well, they tell them, they give them, they sensitize them from time to time that they should always go out. They go out, they even arrest all these offenders and bring them to the Forestry Commission. So basically, people need more enlightenment. That is just it. I think when more enlightenment is being given, they are sounding it in their ears that this thing you're doing is wrong. Because imagine a tree that is not even that is not even strong enough, they are cutting it down and they're using it to roof houses. It's susceptible to any wind throw. Anything can happen, and you see houses collapsing because they are using substandard wood, they are using substandard material. So people need sensitization. They need more enlightenment on the dangers, the hazards, and if also penalties are even allotted out to any offender that is caught, it will serve as a warning to other people that, okay, these people are not joking. So government on their part, they need to take it more seriously. They need to give out penalties and more fines so that the culprits will serve as, example that, okay, if you do this, this is what the consequence that would happen.
Okay, before we continue, we're still watching Daybreak Nigeria. We'll go on a short break, take some advertisement, and we'll come back for more discussion with our guest. And our guest has been the program officer of the Green for Abundance Development and Empowerment Foundation, a non-governmental organization, and the person of Miss Faith area.
Remy.
So we'll go for a short break. I will come back for more after now. Please don't go.
Chef. Mr. Chef, what's your secret?
My secret is the wide range of seasoning powders from Mr. Chef. Perfect for meals such as spicy stew, goat meat, roasted beef, fried rice, and cooker.
Unleash your inner chef and explore our wide range of Mr. Chef seasoning powder.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
Chef. Mr. Chef, what's your secret?
My secret is the wide range of seasoning powders from Mr. Chef. Perfect for meals such as spicy stew, goat meat, roasted beef, fried rice, and cooker.
Unleash your inner chef and explore our wide range of Mr. Chef seasoning powder.
Thank you so much for joining us again. Like we told you at time, our guest is the program officer, Green for Abundance Development and Empowerment Foundation, an NGO, and that's the person of Miss Faith Area Mayor. I hope you will not break my head today. Now, the other time when you were introducing, you talked about honoring the first professor of forestry in Africa, who happens to be from Ekiti State. I'd like you to talk to us about it. You said you did a memorial on this book. I would like to, and the benefit of what you're doing, you actually did for me.
Okay, so the memorial arboretum was done in honor of the late emeritus Professor S.K. Adeyoju. He was the first professor of forestry in Africa, in which he did his studies in the University of Ibadan. So he's from Ijon.
Okay.
So basically, from stories that I have heard, he only understands two languages, which is just Ijo and the general English language. He doesn't speak Yoruba. He speaks purely Ijo and Ekiti. So basically, they were like, this man has done so much. He has done so much for the profession called forestry. He has, in fact, he has helped so many lives. He has done so many restoration programs. He is well known. So we're like, okay, this kind of person that has devoted so much to forestry, what can we do that would, make his name keep sounding in the ears of even generations to come? Then we thought of a memorial arboretum. So what is a memorial arboretum? It is a large expanse of land donated to basically planting of trees. And the reason why we have an arboretum is so that it can be a seed bank later on in future.
Wanted to ask that
Exactly.
question. Thank you.
So
Responding.
exactly. So planting trees in there, we would imagine we have not just any trees, indigenous trees that we all know that are indigenous, very, very indigenous to us. So we are planting indigenous trees, introducing more and more tree species to that place, making sure that that place serves as seed bank. Imagine you're looking for the seeds of ogbono and you cannot get it anywhere but that place. You're looking for it in the whole of Nigeria and you cannot get it but just in that place. So that is what we thought about, that the longevity, the long-term plan, the long-term goal of, when we have different trees in a place, we will just use it as seed banks. Once they are fruiting, people can come there, come and take the seeds, go and plant. So it's also a way of, restoring the environment, giving people insights to love the environment, conservation and things like that. And not just for seed banks also. We also plan that place would be more like a research center where students, lecturers, professors can come from all over the world to come and carry out research. They can do a lot of research, even the biodiversity of that place also. The interaction between the birds, the animals, the insects, the trees, the humans in general. Introducing those tree species has changed the whole outface of that particular area that we used. So that was what we thought of, that okay, why not have a memorial arboretum? It will serve as seed bank, it will serve as a place where people can come to do research. Even the long term, it can even serve as a recreational center where people can just, for lovers of nature, can just go into, I want to come and see. There are some people, they've never even seen a tree of what are they calling it, bitter kola before. They've not seen it. They've not even seen a tree of obiata, that's bukosia coris, a wonderful kola. Some people have not even seen even common asala, the tree of asala. So that's a mausa, yes. So basically, that is the plan we have for that place, and so far we've planted about 800 indigenous species, and we are still planting. So it has been an exciting project, and we started it last year. So till now we are still planting, we are still introducing new species to the place.
Okay, with what you have said, that people will be able to get seedlings and will be able
Seeds,
to plant, but what actually came into my mind is the fact that as the population is actually growing at an accelerated rate, and you discover that people are now building houses, and I was now wondering that maybe it's just an assumption that it will get to a stage that we will have fewer land. And how do you intend to map out the kind of strategies towards having a larger land so that people, or is the organization not having such a kind of a foresight? Or how do you advise people now?
Okay, basically, the world generally, we are moving into, we are in the industrialization era in which everybody wants to build, everybody wants to own a piece of land. But in as much as that consciousness of owning land, owning properties and all, imagine this real estate people that they go into real estate, they just plant houses. They don't even, when they are planting, they just build it. See, I'm using plants. When they are building houses, they don't consider even planting trees. So we are trying to enlighten them that if you must build houses, still donate a section, even if it's just 1 or 2 trees, just have them in your compound So in as much as yes, the land is already now getting so choked and everything, but there should still be a little space you will just create, even if it's one or two trees you have in a compound. If we had this slogan, one man, one tree. If one person, as the three of us assisted, you have one tree in your house, I have a tree in my house, you have a tree in your house, we are already doing something already. We're already changing the story, we're already conserving. So that is it basically.
How expensive is it to plant trees?
I'm telling you, it is not even expensive.
But you go to all these horticulturists to go and buy flowers and you see how much they're selling it. So how expensive is it to maintain a green environment?
I will tell you that in fact, if there is a word called the most minute amount of money that you can actually even give to a kid, that is what maintaining a seedling would cost. Imagine, okay, let me take an example. You want to get the seeds of you see, I keep mentioning Garcinia cola, Garcinia cola, the Orobo. That is what all of us like we can relate to. Getting the seed, you grow it, like you put it in a poly pot with sand, you fill it in. You are planting just one seed. It germinates, you transplant and put it in the permanent site. What you just need to do is just monitor it, give it water till it is well established. And once it is established, you don't even need to do anything, nothing again. It just keeps growing on its own till it starts bearing fruit. So tell me, how much have you spent so far like that? You can get the seeds freely. You just get the seeds anywhere, any tree that you see is producing the seed. You just go take it, plant it, it grows. And in fact, you're now benefiting from it. So how much have you spent so far?
But I have a friend that actually in his house now, presently, all the cashew tree, because it was almost becoming a nuisance in his house. Okay. So he had to cut everything down now presently, because I think it was having like almost 4
cashew trees.
Yes, and the thing was actually spreading seriously. Okay. So he had to cut it recently now. And at the end, one thing that surprised me was the fact that they used the cashew tree to cut this wood for house guy. They had to go and cut it and to use it. Now my challenge is that how do you maintain, what must you do so that they don't become nuisance?
Yeah. Okay, so
you keep talking about Obi, and we appreciate, as long as I remember some years back too, we had to cut down what call it orange tree because it was becoming a nuisance. So how do we ensure that those things, as we are asking, encouraging people to plant, we maintain the maintenance?
So okay, basically the maintenance is pruning. You can prune, like you might not necessarily have to cut the whole tree down. If you're seeing that okay, it is about to start constituting news and maybe the branches or even the roots, you can prune. It will not kill the tree. You just make sure it is your own tree. You decide how you want it to grow. You decide where you want it to go. They are human beings. They respond to stimuli. You imagine when a tree sees sunlight, it bends towards the sunlight, right? Yeah. So basically, it is you that can also control it. That no, I don't want you to bend this way. Let me prune you so that you go straight. So it's also your own personal maintenance for that particular tree that counts. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, now by virtue of your experience, I don't know how the number of years you have already been part of this, but what are some of major things that you think that an average person, especially in Ekiti, needs to work on? That's issue that actually be reoccurring in your visitations to either schools, to people that are engaging in tree cutting, and other people, government. What are those things that are actually been coming up that you think we need to give more attention to?
Okay, so number one on my list is the issue of fire outbreak. Yeah, a lot of people, okay, just like farmers these days, they are into like bush burning. They would want to plant for the next season, but because they do not want to clear the manual way, they just set fire in it, so it burns every living thing in there, both the trees, both the insects, both whatever that is on that land. It burns everything up. So we are preaching against the use of fire. Stop burning, stop bush burning. Instead, why don't you just clear it the normal way? I know, yes, labor is hard these days to get, is fine, but we just have to try, because bush burning is a very serious issue. We have experienced it in one of our projects that we did at in the challenge we had. It was a really very painful experience. We planted close to 500 tree species, but would you believe it that somebody just set fire? Like, maybe the person could just be looking for maybe bush rabbit or something, or probably he wants to clear a portion of his own land and he does not want to go manually. He just puts in fire. So the person did not even do fire tracing to even monitor how the fire was. He just put in the fire and it burnt both his farm, both ours, and both every other person's farm. You understand? So it was a huge loss for us, because we had toiled so much. We had wasted a lot of energy to make sure that plantation was established. In fact, the trees there, they're already of this height. They were that tall, but at the time we just heard, they called us on the phone that it's like fire is already inside this place. So by the time we got there, everything was gone. It was really painful, but what can we do? So that is why we are coming out now that people should stop this habit of bush burning. It is not good. It's not good, and it's even affecting the environment. You're generating more carbon dioxide. While we are even trying to manage the small oxygen we have, then you're still burning again, increasing the greenhouse gases that are in the atmosphere, and this is not hygienic for our livelihood, basically. Okay. So that is okay.
Earlier on, you said
let her complete all
the challenges. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
So the first I talked about is bush burning. Then the second thing is interest, people's personal interest in tree planting. In as much as, yes, we do sensitization, it's just like a pastor going to go and preach to a person. Yes, the pastor has done his own part of preaching. It now falls on the person whether the person will accept Christ or accept what the pastor has spoken to him. So it is now still the mindset of people that people should have a changed mindset. They should view it at a different angle. They should try to, come to our level, come to understand that this tree thing we are talking about is very, very important. It's as important as how you drink water, how you know how to eat food, how you know how to do things. So people should imbibe that habit of, okay, let me have conservation at heart, let me have restoration at heart. Don't let me just destroy and destroy and destroy. Let me also have a way I am repairing this environment, this planet Earth that I am living in. Yeah.
Okay, like you were saying the other time that your organization is in collaboration with the government, and you know that when we have an existing law guiding against bush burning, guiding against so many things that has to do with forestry, life will become better.
Yes.
So do you think, let's consider the Southwest now generally, do you think all the laws that we have concerning forestry, they are effective, or if you are to...
Well, we would keep hammering on the issue that most of these forest laws needs to be reviewed, because some of them, they were just enacted, but there was no, implementation basically. So these laws need to be reviewed, and there should be strong implementation of these laws. I think by so doing it will make everything better and good for all of us, basically.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll be speaking with the program officer of the Green to Abundant Development and Empowerment Foundation, that is GADEF, and Ms. Faith Reme from Edo State.
Yes,
Oh,
from
okay,
Edo
from Edo State. And she has been helping us to keep life better in Edo State.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to give you a chieftaincy title so that we'll keep you in Ekiti. Thank you so much for being part of the program this
Thank you
evening.
very much.
And we hope that our society will be better if only we are able to give respect to our environment and also try as much as possible to plant a tree each. One man, one tree. Thank you so much. We'll go on a short break and we'll come back for newspaper highlights. Please don't go away. Thank you so much.
Daybreak Nigeria from EKTV in the heartbeat of the Southwest. We break your day on EKTV Daybreak Nigeria with inclusive information, news without prejudice, well